welcome to Be Divine Vintage. It's coming up to the end of August now, and very soon, or you may have already started your Halloween journals. So I thought, well, maybe I should start a Halloween journal and show you my process. So I had this book, which is a vintage book cover, which was sent to me quite recently actually from my pen pal from Germany, who we've known each other over probably around 50 years or so. We've been writing and now we send the odd WhatsApp to each other. So I thought this would make a really good journal. Because this is about botany and plants, I thought I'd sort of look at a witchy, Halloweeny, botany, grimoire, Victorian type of book. Not many genres in there, but you know what I mean. So, the first thing that I did was cut out the spine, because it only had this tiny spine, which is less than ½ an inch, because it's probably about 1 centimetre. Because what I've decided is I would like to do a different binding. It's one that I've used before, but I don't think you've seen me use before. So I thought that would be quite nice. And I've got my selection of papers here. So luckily, these pages are going to fit A4 perfectly. So I have some pages that I eco-dyed a while ago that I hadn't got round to using, and they've still got the rose petals actually stuck to them. Now, yes, there's a hole in, but does that matter? Not really. Not for me. It all adds to the overall effect. I've got papers that I dyed, I think, with red cabbage, which is pertinent for the season as well. And got this lovely dark bluey black colour. Those are vintage papers. And I've just started to fold and to collect my papers together. This is the first thing that I like to do. This is a piece of drawing paper. I've got some, this is a vintage paper with, again, dyed in the pizza pan. It's like a graph paper. So I love how the red cabbage has stained it. Red cabbage is one of my favourite stains. So I'm probably going to look on about 30 sheets of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just do a few with you. This is a nice one as well. 6. Well, I love this, the effect on this one. It's dyed really nicely. 7. This is some lined paper. Again, it's torn in the corner, but as I go along, I'll show you how I deal with tears and things. Again, this is some vintage paper. I'll keep counting, although I think I've just counted 6 or 7. I'll have to keep counting and counting until I get to 30. Let's fold that across. So I'm not doing them in any particular order. Once I've got my 30 pages, I'll order them. This is a coffee dyed, so we'll put this one in as well, just to add more interest, just having the different colours. I want to put some ledge paper in as well. I think that'll look nice. I'm up to 10 now. Are you keeping count for me? So how are we all doing? Hope everyone's keeping well. Well, I've had a tumultuous year, to say the least. Anyway, it's behind me now, which is a good thing. And I'm moving into the new year. When I say the new year, it's new year for me. So like it's a new academic year, I suppose. And looking into it with great expectations and anticipation. I'm using my desk today here, which is a Victorian desk. I bought it not realising it was Victorian. I thought it was reproduction. I bought it from a charity shop for £25. And when I sent it, it was very dark, very, very dark brown and thick varnish on it. I sent it off to be varnished, to be stripped down. And the guy contacted me and he said, "You do know this is authentic Victorian, don't you?" Which I didn't. And of course, I'm absolutely delighted that it is. And he stripped it down for me, hubby waxed it, and here we are. Sat at it now. So this is planned for me to do my spooky crafts, Halloween, potion bottles, anything sort of spooky-ish. I've got a table where I do my regular journals, and I've got a table bench where I'm making things out of items that I've found, which gives me 3. Yes, I'm really pleased I've got my 3 workstations, along with my the glassine bags too. Oh, I'd forgotten about all these. I'm getting so excited. Yeah, so it's so exciting, and hopefully now I can really get back into my crafting, back into my craft room and doing all sorts of things and bringing you some much more informative videos, etc. That's some squared paper. It looks good, doesn't it? This is some of the smaller sheets. They have dyed really rather nice. I could smell, just got a little little red cabbage with them. So I do believe I've got my 30 pages now, and what I'm going to do at this point, before I proceed any further, I do need to do any stitching that I've got planned, because these pages are going to be fixed together very, very soon, and once they're fixed together it's quite difficult to actually stitch around any of the pages. So if you're doing this sort of journal, then you need to stitch first. Oh, I took these ledger paper, Victorian, the Victoria 1859. Wow, the late Victorian, early Georgian. Wow. So they are bigger, as you can see, than my standard sheet. So I could either cut them down, or what I thought I would do is, because I don't want to cut them down, they're just too nice, I'm going to fold them up. So let's just work out where I need them to fold up. I'm not going to stitch around every sheet of those. I'll be here till forever and ever, just certain ones. So I'm going to fold them up. Let's have some pockets. And then I'm going to fold them in. That's nice. Oh, the quality of this paper, I do use nice quality paper anyway, but the quality of this is phenomenal. Right, so that's there. So that should be the same size. Yeah, it is. It is. So we'll have some pockets in there. There's another one here. So let's do the same again. And just fold it up. Now, as this is sort of a grimoire, it would be up to whoever owns the book to fill it with their things that they want to put in the book. So I'm just going to print some things on, maybe mulberry paper, etc., and put them in. I'll put some pockets and put some things in pockets as well. but that's why I'm not printing on these pages. Sometimes it's just nice to leave your pages more blank. I mean, what a more delicious piece than writing on some 1850s like parchment paper to fill in your book. It's absolutely wonderful. Right, I'm just going to go off and do some sewing. So here are my 30 pieces all stitched and ready. I'm just going to put my book cover to one side, and then we can I can just show you some of the stitching that I've done. Now, as I've gone along, I've used my bone folder and made sure that these creases are nice and sharp. So let's have a look. They're not all stitched. That one's just stitched up at the top. It's just examples I'm showing you. This one with the pockets at the side and at the bottom is just stitched along. This is that Victorian, early Victorian. I wish I could feel that paper. It's amazing. That one is just stitched at the bottom. This one is all the way around. So I've just this I've where it's torn, I've stitched along the line where it's torn. Let me show you the, see, just down there, this one I've gone all round. What I didn't want is stitching overload in this journal. I just want to show you the, see again where it's torn up, I've just gone up to strengthen it with the stitching. This one had a tear along there, so I've just stitched it down. This is the one. So this is the one with the hole, which I'll probably put some mica across. You see the hole? And I've literally just gone around and around. And here I've just done some zigzag stitch. There was a hole. There's still a little hole, but not as big as it was. So what do we need to do next? So I've got my 30 pieces. Now, looking at this one, which is just sticking out there. Ooh, let's try that on my book. Yes, it is. It's sticking out by about an inch. So I'm going to take it off there. I'm just going to tear that off. So check your papers first. Double check them. Let's get my ruler. Let's put that on the short side. And then we literally just, it's easier. Oh, she says it's not easy to tear when there's stitch in there. It's easier to tear the long bit off than the little bits. Right. It's all right. Now I've left all my threads on because I do like threads. If whoever gets this book doesn't want the threads on, then that is up to them. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through page by page and check I've got everything exactly where I want it to be, because I'm actually going to glue these together. So you do not make the signatures in the traditional way. So there's 30 there and each one's 4. That's 120 sides. So it's quite a nice size grimoire. So yeah, just let's go through and check that everything, as you would do with signatures, check that everything is going to be exactly where you want it. Now, if you're using papers all the same size, easy peasy, you just shape them, don't you, and smudge them into position. Here is a bit different because we've got some of these smaller papers, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some at the top, one at the top there, and then one of them at the bottom. Now you do have to be quite precise here and ensure that on this side where your folds are, that they all line up. I promise you it's worth it. You get very, very pretty fine. What have you got planned for Halloween yet? Anything? It's going to be Halloween, then you're going to be having Thanksgiving over in America, aren't you? And then it's going to be Christmas and other holiday. We seem to have, we'll have an Eid around here. We will have Hanukkah. We will have, see, that's a shorter one, so I'm going to put a shorter one down at the bottom. We will have, what is it, the Diwali. So many celebrations all around at the same time. And Christmas. So for Halloween, for Samhain, we are thinking of hiring, well, it may be 2 cottages, because the cottages in Haworth, where we're thinking of going, and that's Bronte country, where the Bronte sisters lived at the parsonage. We're thinking of going there. The cottages are very, very tiny, because we want to stay in the original, not the Bronte cottages, obviously, because that's the parsonage, but the cottages in the street, and they are very, very tiny. We can just about get them that might sleep 6, but it means there's like 2 double beds in one room. Well, just take that one out. There's 8 of us for starters if we all go. We don't fancy 2 double beds in one room, because we're actually, there's me and my hubby and our 3 grown-up children with their wives and partners and husbands and things, so we don't want to be sharing rooms with them. Oh, I can't think of anything worse. So yes, so we're just waiting for the kids to finalise who wants to come, and then we need to book it. So we're thinking of just booking it for the Friday and the Saturday night coming on the 1st of November. But on the Saturday night, there's the Halloween parade through the village, which my middle daughter, my youngest daughter, my middle child, she will go to town with a costume. She's a special effects trained makeup artist, so she will have everything. She'll have the eyes, everything, you know, the contacts and that. She'll have the costume. She'll get my mum on to making the costume for her. She will. She'll just, yeah. If she's going as a zombie, she will look like a zombie. If she's going as a witch, she will look like you would imagine a witch to look. She is just, costumes have been amazing. So that's what we want to do, but we're just waiting at them. And hubby says, you know, if they don't, Sharon, if they don't let us know, we'll just book a cottage for the 2 of us, because there's parade, torchlight parades. There is ghost walks. There is special sort of meal in the local sort of pub restaurant, which will be amazing. And yeah, we want to get it booked. We want to get our meals booked. We want to get the events booked. But if we stay on the main street, you see, the torchlight parade will come past our front door. So, and of course, the baby will be with us. So of course, she's going to have to be a little black cat or something, isn't she? Something cute, pumpkin. Yeah, so we need to get that booked ASAP. Right, there we go. So we'll put those together. Now I'm going to get my glue. Now the glue I'm using for this, you can use like Elmer's PVA, but I'm going to use some proper, because it's stronger, some proper bookbinders glue. Now if you want to do any embossing to your papers, any more work at your papers that you wouldn't be able to do once your book is together, your journal's together, now is the time to do it. Now I've got this scarf. It's actually very, very dark blue. Well, it was a scarf. Can you see how it's like very fine cheesecloth? And it was dark blue, and it's still got its end bits on here, which I thought looked rather good. I measured my piece to the height of the journal, and folding it, it would cover this page as well. But I don't need to worry more about that yet. But I've made it so it would cover, because it's easier to cut it down than to make it longer. well, you wouldn't be able to make it longer. So right, here's my pages. Just going to do this. Now I've also got 3 of these big clips. So what I'm going to do now is get this is the bookbinding glue I use. I get it off Amazon, Pin Flare. I really like it. I like it more when I can get the top off, she says. That's how sticky it is. Let's get that top off. I don't want to move this arm because I've got everything lined up. Just let me move the glue. Coming. There we go. Apparently, wood glue is very, very strong as well. Wood glue is like paper glue, bookbinding glue, apparently. So I've been told. Right, I'm just tapping those down. So, got my edges here and my brush. So my edges, I'm going to get my glue and I'm going to go along all my edges. Now, don't be too liberal because it'll go through your pages, onto your pages, and you don't want that. But don't be too mean with the amount of glue you're putting on, because you do need it to stick, don't you? So you put that on. Let's just move that back. I always find this bit quite tricky. Right, I'm trying to keep them all in line. So I've got my little bit of glue on the table there, it doesn't really matter. Got my piece of gauze and I'm going to put my book on over there to the height of my book, because it'll all be curling up because it's like a gauze, like not gauze, cheesecloth. Right, do that. There we go. And then once you've got them in place like this, it's not quite to the top there, but I'm not overly concerned. And I've got this now. I'm actually, you can see, I'm going to put some more glue on top of this. On top of the gauze, the cheesecloth. Now you need a fine fabric over there. Right, just let me wipe this up. Just wipe that there, because I don't want that all over the book now. Right, so that is on there. All our pages lined up to it. So now there's nothing else we can do now but to let that dry. I know I've missed about 1 centimetre at the top and 1/2 centimetre at the bottom, but it's fine. Right, big clips. So you put your big clips on now. That's one. One at the top. And one in the middle. So like I say, until that glue is dry, with things here at the moment warm for the season, that'll be dried by tomorrow. But that now is literally your book made, and that will fit into there. And we can do, I'll show you how to fit it in, and we can do a very pretty edge along that side there. So it's actually, to assemble this journal, I think is probably one of the quickest ways to assemble a journal. However, you will find as well that when you come to open the journal, it opens flat. So each page opens flat. So there we go. So I will be back tomorrow to show you a little bit more.